We open up, not in present day, but on an evening 2 years ago. Two young men step out of the train station, and after a conversation, one of them hands a glove to the other. Well, it's more like he threw it in his face, but the message is still getting put across. Because as he walks off, he makes a promise to himself. He will not lose again. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to a Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Avi, and I will be playing two individuals today. And I am joined today by my two very, very good friends. Would you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Oatmeal, and would you like to know who I'm playing?
Yes.
I'll be playing today the Professor.
Hi, I'm Mira. I will be playing Sammy Satomi today.
Oh, I did forget to say who I'm playing as, but one of those boys that I'm playing as is in fact Arata. Um, and here's the deal. It is late in the evening, pretty late in fact that it is practically closing time for the last one in. Professor, you're coming here because you told someone that you would let Trickster, or as you know him, Arata, know about something.
Mm-hmm.
So how you doing?
Uh, Honestly, pretty chill. He's fine. He's just he's had an interesting day. Uh, but he's come back to Toontown. From his brief visit to Good Time Town. Uh, but he has come back to Toontown and he is heading to the last one in because he has a message for Arata.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. The sign is flipped to close, but you can see that there is still a light inside the inn, and
He just knocks on the door.
yeah. You hear a voice like kind of look over, and he says, "It's open."
All right, yeah, he opens the door and comes in. Hello, Arata.
Hi. And he is still behind the counter in the little restaurant area behind the whole like front desk situation.
Mm-hmm.
There are a set of cards laid out in front of him. Do you want to roll a quick perception?
Absolutely. I got a 16.
All right, nice. Um, Also, would it be fair to say that the professor knows his arcana, the major arcana for the tarot?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. Arata is sitting behind the counter. Mind you, the counter has been cleaned up. Like there's like nothing on the stove. Nothing's being cooked right now. Jeannie's probably like vibing on the counter beside him. But there are he has the deck of card off to one side, and he has pulled three cards that are facing upwards towards him. And those cards you can see are uh, Justice, the Fool, and this one's odd, Professor, because you did say that you know your Arcana.
Mm.
Uh, this one is the Faith, which, mind
Mm.
you, is not a very. It's not an Arcana that you see in the traditional tarot deck.
Mm-hmm.
And Arata looks up from the cards and he looks over to you and gives you a wave and he goes, "Hey."
Oh, well, that's an interesting spread. I have a message for you.
Oh?
Yes. I met somebody early today, and he gave me a message for you. Um, it's important for you to know that Detective Shiro Azumi is looking for you.
Oh boy. That's the wrong sheet. Okay, yeah, that's fine. He got a nat 20 on a wisdom.
Man. Well, there you go.
And you actually get the attention of both Arata and Genie. Genie's ears like twitch upwards to like the alert position, and he like straightens up, and Arata kind of looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the look of someone who like just thought that you just said something. How do I explain it? Like, there's no way that I heard you right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did... Okay, when you say
Detective Shiro Azumi. I presume you know who that is. I mean, it'd be silly if you didn't, really. Oh, by the way, I realized, he sort of waves a hand, the, connection between you and, you know who.
oh, okay. One thing at a time, Professor, please. Well, first of all, I trust you with that secret.
Mm.
Second of all, Professor, there's no easy way to say this. Um, Shiro Azumi has been dead for 2 years.
All right. Uh, he just sort of blinks and frowns and says, "So is that what happened? Interesting." He says, "No, he's very much alive."
It can't be him. It can't.
Oh, no, I'm fairly certain it is. Uh, he has the address of, what was it? Cafe, Greece, in his notes.
That hey, Harada just kind of shit. He like does swear out loud. He's just like, that's not possible. That he's dead. I heard.
Well, I mean, you faked your death and he believed it. It he may have done the same.
No, no, there is no way. There's no way. He kind of leans over the counter and puts his head in his hands, and he's just, I was there. I was there. I saw it. I heard it. Son of a bitch.
The professor reaches out to put a hand on Arata's shoulder. All right, just calm down now. We can rationalize this out.
It's not just that Azumi is supposed to be dead.
Yes.
Azumi died Azumi. Azumi was a goddamn idiot and sacrificed himself for us.
Huh. Professor just kind of looks puzzled, but like he's following, but he doesn't really doesn't seem to have the context.
I it's complicated. I don't
Well, in any case, I think you ought to expect him
I
soon.
soon. Oh god.
He'd have, I'm sure he'd have tried to, follow me here if I hadn't, taken the ellipsis. It's quite impossible for him to have tracked me, but,
Thank God for that. Are you sure it was him? What?
I mean, young man, slightly older than you, blonde hair, uh, on the longer side, almost in a bob, um, acts, uh, puts on a very well-crafted facade of, uh, cheery helpfulness and, civic duty, but, in actuality, he's, uh,
Rather
troubled.
selfish.
Oh,
God damn. That's
well, yes, he's clearly an expert liar, but, I
that's
managed to
him.
well, I managed to crack him earlier today and, get a little bit of honesty out of him. Although he, I'm sure, was holding back large pieces of the truth.
I
He
mean,
didn't
if
mention he was supposed to have died, for one thing.
I mean, I guess that's not surprising knowing him, cause oh god.
He's been working in Toontown for a while now.
No, when Gil told me, I thought it was just some guy, some sick joke trying to use his name.
Uh,
I just
it would appear not.
yeah, I that's why that's part of the reason why Sammy and I left town for a bit. Because so there was this guy going around, you know, I don't want to get involved with that, so it's just god damn. God damn it. And he takes the cards and he like without really like thinking about it just shoves them back into the deck and he's just you're not hurt, are you?
What? No. Why would I be hurt?
He lets out a heavy sigh and he's just like, okay, that's good.
Why would why would you I mean, I understand you were, uh,
What?
rivals, I think it was? Sort of a detective and, thief cat and mouse game,
It's
but
sort of, at least up until a certain point, and then What did he tell you?
Well, let's see. I grilled him. I had to, I had to determine how trustworthy he could be, because he'd been called in on a case um, regarding a young girl named Joy who's under my protection, and I wasn't going to tell him any sensitive information until he'd proven himself and, well, we'd had a conversation about the spirit rogues. I asked him uh, what his real intentions were with the spirit rogues, and then when he was vague, with Trickster specifically. He said he wanted to find out what happened that day. Because he seemed confused. He wants to know what you know.
I know.
Well, I don't know.
He died and that was it. Look, Professor, he's... Azumi's not just a liar.
Mm-hmm.
He's... He pauses, and he realizes that there is no nice way to put this.
Please just tell me. I have trusted him with sensitive information. I'd rather just know now the mistake that I've made.
That's the thing. I don't know, because he seemed to...
What do you
fucking
think he
idiot,
is?
but like... Why is this happening?
I'm sorry, Arata. You gonna be alright?
I'll be fine. Oh. Okay. When Azumi died, I think he understood what he did wrong and how, putting it bluntly, how fucking stupid he was. And, but like, before that, he wasn't just a detective. He was also a contracted assassin.
Oh my. Somehow I didn't expect that.
Yeah, a contracted assassin. The only reason he did it was to get to the guy up top.
Huh. A personal grudge?
Something like that. I don't know. It's... But the thing is, he was so wrapped up in this goddamn revenge plot, or whatever the hell it was, that, like, in the process, you see Arata kind of, like, press a hand against his chest.
He hurt you.
He tried to kill me twice.
I see. And his face, his expression darkens. That, then, was a blatant lie that he told me. Half-truths. Well, but he told me that neither of you had any desire to kill each other. That
You
was...
see, Arata kind of just pause, and he goes, I don't think he wanted to.
Hmm.
That's the thing, he was contracted assassin, you know?
I see. A technical truth, then. Very clever, I must say. Very careful with his words, I noticed.
Well, that's how he gets you to trust him.
Hmm.
Hey, Mira.
Hi, yes!
How are you? How's Sammy doing?
Currently running pell-mell through the streets, heading towards the cafe.
Why don't for the sake of the recording, why don't you tell us what Sammy's been up to?
So, Sammy's had an interesting day. He had been called in on a kidnapping case, met a fellow detective who was a lot better at investigating than him, and together they managed to tip off the police enough to watch them go, pointed them in the right direction for once, and just kind of watched them go. And then they had a very, very interesting conversation wherein Sammy finally figured out this detective's name, and freaked out a little bit. And started booking it towards the cafe because holy peck.
Understandable. Alright, I'm gonna roll stealth. You're free to roll perception.
I will be real, he's too panicked to really notice.
Okay, I guess I'm not rolling that. Sammy, the I'm not sure if you're even paying attention, but when you get to the door, do you just open it?
Give me a sec real quick. That was a... let me get into the right window. 16 plus 8 strength save. So, the door slams incredibly hard open, and the camera kind of cuts to Sammy where he's basically still kind of just going, and he's yelling, Arata! A zombie! Zombie!
What? Dude.
Sammy?
Zombie! Well, I don't really know if he's a zombie, but you said he was dead, and he helped me on a case, and, he's looking for you, Arata!
Sorry, that was amazing. I love you so much. Oh, God. Like, you see Arata just kind of like... If he wasn't pale before while talking to the professor, he's absolutely pale. And he just goes, well, did he follow you here?
I don't know.
Oh, probably.
I just kind of ran.
Do you want to lock the door now?
You hear a knock.
Too late.
I think I'm just gonna really quickly roll over save. Even with his new stats, he got a 7. So, at the knock, there is a yelp. And Arata, even though you were behind the counter, because I'm presuming you did not move from behind the counter, your arms are now full of a very, spooked, Toon, whose shading is very definitely, like, at least a light purple.
Shall I get that? The professor is going to walk to the door and open it. Hello, Azumi.
Yeah, lo and behold, Shiro Azumi is standing in the doorway of the last one in, and he kind of just looks surprised to see you, Professor. And there is a brief moment where he kind of sees that you're here, and that surprise just again turns into, oh, great.
You've not been entirely honest with me, but I suppose that's to be expected, isn't it? Do come in.
Well...
Come on.
And he steps inside.
Right as Azumi steps in, Sammy kind of is just like, he's trying to whisper, but it's very much a stage whisper that's, is it the zombie?
Well, if he is undead, actually, let me check. And the professor is going to, he is going to cast, Detect Evil and Good.
Alright, I need to double check something, so... Because I forgot.
Do you want the spell description?
Give me the spell description for, Detect Evil and Good, and I will, like, check something else in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Comet. Alright. Alright. Yeah, no. Sammy stage whispers, and, like, the expression that, Azumi has just flattens. He's just like, pretty sure I would know if I was undead. And, sure enough, Professor, this young man does not pick up as anything, really, just as a ordinary Kalashtar.
Mm-hmm. No, he's right. He's not undead. Good thing, too. I don't much like undead.
So he's not a zombie.
No.
No!
Look, I don't have anything... I was not expecting to run into an undead in Toontown, so I didn't pack anything to make sure, double sure. You're real! I can't tell!
That's entirely fair, dear.
You don't have a design!
You just see Azumi kind of just pinch the bridge of his nose. Well, I suppose I should have expected this. Hi. If you're wondering how Arata's doing, he has not said a word. Just staring.
I think Sammy's gonna just kind of slide out of Arata's kind of most likely loose hold and sit on the counter, and then kind of turn around and poke Arata in the cheek, and he's gonna roll insight on his brother.
Oh boy.
Let's see. 15 plus 4. Woo! 19.
Woo! Oh boy. Yeah, no, with the 19, Sammy, I'm gonna be real, even if you rolled low, I think you would have picked this up by virtue of being Arata's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. He just kind of, Arata's stare is in, disbelief. And you recognize this kind of quiet it's the same kind of quiet that he had been in around the end of Virtuoso's Flourish Act 1, when he had just been like so overwhelmed he just went quiet. This is Arata in his silent protag mode.
Yeah, Sammy's just gonna gently kind of cup Arata's cheeks and then press his forehead against Arata's and go, take a deep breath, okay? You gotta let yourself feel, alright?
Yeah.
We're gonna figure this out. However you survived, we're gonna find it out together.
Okay. And I'm gonna roll something for Azumi. Oh god. You're disgusting modifiers, boy. Yeah, thank you, Gallery, for that. But like, yeah, you see, Professor, you probably are the best candidate to like actually see Azumi, but he's kind of watching this happen, and as he like clocks in what's going on, he just kind of takes a step backwards away from Arata.
Good.
And he's just, I could come back a different time.
It's up to you, Arata.
Arata, do you need a moment to breathe?
Takes a deep breath. Takes another. He's just... I mean... he kind of shifts out of your hold, Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy will let him go.
Yeah.
But, like, he's still close.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, enough that if, like, Arata really did want, like, space, Arata could move.
Yeah, and he kind of, like, he kind of, like, moves over. I think he's actually going to move so that he's around the counter and, like, in the more open space of the restaurant, and he kind of looks over in Zumi's direction. He's gonna roll a quick perception. Is it perception? Is it investigation? No, I'm just gonna do a perception. Yep, okay. And you see him just kind of look Azumi up and down, and he goes, God fucking damn, it's like you haven't changed at all. And Azumi just kind of stands there and looks back.
Say, Azumi.
Hmm?
Have you killed anyone since coming back?
And he takes a deep breath and he says, I haven't.
Sammy's gonna roll insight on that.
Yes, Professor. Oh, well, great. I got a 3. Fantastic.
Okay, dice coming in a little clutch. That's 18.
Alright, Arata also got an 18. Oh, goodness. And he, Azumi kind of just sighs and looks away for a moment, and he says, I have no reason to kill anybody.
No, but apparently you used to. So I don't think it's unfair for us to ask.
No, it's not. If you must know, I did threaten a certain pink-haired imbecile.
Wait, you know Kai?
Do you remember that phone conversation?
Wait.
I was speaking to a detective.
No.
Yes.
Oh my pecking gosh. Stars and heaven. Sammy just kind of
that close? What?
Sammy just kind of puts his face in his hands.
I was right there! What?
I was watching Seeker put his hand through Amber's flame head. Oh.
He was a little occupied. And to be fair, I didn't mention him by name.
Professor, okay, did you know? Why. Before that?
No, I mean, I didn't know who he was precisely. I just knew... I just knew that he was looking for Trickster. I just met him by chance.
Sammy just kind of looks upward and then just rubs his forehead and goes, plot shenanigans, why?
Arata looks off to the side. Zumi just kind of looks... He's just kind of like standing there and he just goes... I see the sort of people you tend to hang around with hasn't changed at all, Satomi.
Hey, what is that supposed to mean?
Good people. Interesting people.
Good people, interesting people. It's... Satomi's network is rather... extensive, I suppose you could say.
Sammy just kind of looks at Arata and then kind of just nods, because in his brain, that tracks.
What was it, the fortune teller in that one district and the ex-Yakuza? He's not Yakuza. God damn, he's... For fuck's sake, he's a dad. Leave him alone.
I feel like at this point, Sammy's kind of like just looking back and forth, going, wait, what?
That's not to bring up, what's his name? Sayonji? Hey, leave Ryoto out of this!
Wait. Ryoto's the one that runs, right?
Yeah, you met him that one time. You two had a race.
Yes. He was fun. And like Sammy's just kind of bouncing on the balls of his feet, just like kind of like his skating has gone
Total
from
difference.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Azumi, I don't think you have any place to be criticizing the colorful cast of characters that that Arata keeps as company, considering you are one of them.
Also, you know a 6-year-old that keeps getting kidnapped.
Oh, Camille?
You know them too!
Yes, met him
Camille's
recently.
Look.
When did Camille get kidnapped?
A few weeks ago, I got kidnapped too.
He puts his face in his hands.
And then we managed to get some important documents out to Detective Moria, and that's how I found out how you... Wait, no, if it wasn't... Yeah, okay. That's how I found out you were actually alive, kind of, but I wasn't entirely sure if it was actually you or just the person who had the same name, and then I met you, and I remembered all of the things that Arata told me, and so I'm sorry about calling you a zombie. Zombie. I'm sorry for calling you a zombie.
Believe me, I've been called worse.
If it helps any, I didn't mean any offense. It's just the undead kind of spook me out. The souls aren't supposed to return unless they really want to, and that means they're resurrected. They're not the undead, and souls, if they're not supposed to be coming back, are supposed to go back into the pool of reincarnation. Not stuck in an undead decaying body.
So that brings the question, why am I still alive? I don't suppose you would know that, would you, Arata? Sorry, he says Satomi, not Arata. Do not believe that this man addresses Arata by first name.
I just had it. Yeah, Sammy would say this. He kind of like opens his mouth, and then when he realizes that Arata is being addressed, kind of goes, "You might want to actually clarify on who you're speaking to, because both of us are Satomi."
Azumi kind of just looks at you in surprise, and he's just like, when did that happen?
I got adopted. So I am Sammy Satomi.
He looks over to Arata. Arata just kind of shrugs. He's just like, this kind of shit just happens to me. You know this.
Oh, you can hardly complain. You've got your own little brother now.
Look, found
I do?
is legal, and it
No.
happens.
No. What are you talking about, Professor?
Camille. He says you're his big brother.
And there's a pause. And then a moment of realization as he just puts his face in his hands. And he only said that to keep me on the crime scene.
I mean,
I don't know about that.
If Camille actually means it, I do know a place where you can get found family paperwork and make it official.
Mm-hmm. Let's hold off on that until if we know for sure that Azumi is a good person. And the professor smiles sweetly.
Oh, right. Sammy kind of just blinks because he got so caught up in just how the conversation had gone and switched tones.
And just like, yay, family! Like,
yeah, like he just kind of forgot the fact that he's supposed to be suspicious of Azumi because he was just freaked out about the fact that he was potentially a zombie.
Oh, Sammy, living up to your full tuned potential. Absolutely, absolutely just driving the mood all over the place.
Sammy, my goddamn beloved.
As I've been playing him, I'm just like, oh, so that's what had you freaked out, huh? Okay. Like, as soon as he figured out that, like, Azumi was telling the truth, he hadn't killed anybody or anything like that, he wasn't concerned. I'm just sitting here holding my boy. He may have a higher wisdom, but he's still himbo.
And we love him for it.
Well, we've gotten off topic. Where were we?
You just hear from the counter, good person?
Well, I mean, if Detective Azumi isn't actually dead, something that could maybe explain stuff is magic? 'Cause, Sammy kind of glances at Arata and then at Azumi. Stuff can be weird.
That's putting it lightly.
It didn't happen in Inkwell, did it?
No.
Sammy kind of like looks at Arata, kind of like quietly raising his eyebrows and going like, kind of like with that, since Arata's like, they're brothers, Arata would know this face, Sammy's kind of going, do we tell Professor about, the Paraverse? Or...
Gosh, yeah, no, Arata has the same look, like he's trying to figure out if he should, but like at the same time, there's a lot to explain.
I mean, like there's just like kind of like Sammy's like face kind of goes into because didn't Professor say that he was wanted in the quarry realm?
Yeah.
Telcor, yeah. Professor's wanted in Telcor, which I still find hilarious. One of the first people he meets is a Clash Star.
So like Sammy's like face just kind of like goes into that like and like his hands are kind of like doing the shrug.
Okay, and you see Arata just kind of like sighs and hang on, Azumi's gonna be a bastard. Hang on. Of course he is. That was an insight on from Azumi on Arata, and he just goes, "Oh well, look at that. Suppose we all have a bit of explaining to do. Might as well get this interrogation started." Without really much ceremony, he just kind of grabs a chair, middle of the room, and sits down.
Sammy kind of watches that happen and then pauses and then turns to the cafe door, which I honestly picture is still kind of slightly swinging from where Sammy slammed it open. And he's just gonna walk over to the door and lock it.
Yeah, make sure the sign's still closed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll a d2 to see if it flipped at all. It did flip, so Sammy just kind of sheepishly puts it back to where it displays closed and shuts the door and locks it, and then for added measure kind of rolls down the blinds so no one can actually tell that there are people inside.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. We've been going for almost an hour. Do we want to take a break? How are we feeling?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I'm good to keep going.
Alright.
If you want to take a break, we can take a break.
No, I'm good. That's
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you guys were okay.
Yeah.
But like, if you guys want to like pause at any point, let me know. So.
Yee.
um.
But yeah, just Sammy's kind of just making sure the place is all hunkered down and they won't be interrupted by hungry customers who might think that despite it saying closed, it's still open.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, like that was a smart move on Sammy's part. I applaud you.
Well, for someone who's worked retail, well, the food service industry in specific, fast food specifically, and had to close.
Oh God.
Ugh. Yeah, no, you gotta lock down. Otherwise, you are gonna get hungry customers banging on the door, being angry about why it's locked.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
This is true. This is true. I gently pat blows a kiss to the sky for all our hardworking fast food industry retail workers.
They work so hard, and I appreciate them so much, like, even more after working food service.
Oh, yeah.
That said, Azumi's taken a seat, and his briefcase is essentially set on the side beside his chair, and he's sitting arms crossed, chest, looking up at Arata, and Arata just kind of sighs, and he goes, the both of you have what's it? Zone of truth, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he gestures over in Azumi's direction, and he goes, well,
quite. Shall I, Sammy?
Sammy kind of looks over at Professor and then kind of pauses for a moment and then goes, yeah, considering the fact that I already burned a spell slot today, you might want to do that.
Mm-hmm. No problem. Let's see. Casting that.
This is a whiz save or choose to fail, right?
It's a charisma save or choose to fail. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Charisma save or choose to fail. Yeah, no, both Arata and Azumi. I'm pretty sure you can tell because you're the one casting it, if that's right.
Yes,
both Arata
the professor can tell.
Yeah, both Arata and Azumi have chosen to fail.
Mm-hmm. The professor also actually. Can you post this on your? Let me. Blah blah blah. Yes. Okay, the professor also chooses to fail, but you'll have to just take his word on that because nobody else can confirm that. How about Sammy?
Sammy also chooses to fail. This is not a place to lie.
All right. The professor nods decisively and says, everybody will be telling the truth for the next 10 or so minutes.
I suppose we should get this quick then. I'll be real. I'm straight to the point. The only reason I came here was because I wanted to know what Satomi, and he looks in Arata's direction, knows about the time of my death. And Arata kind of just shakes his head and he goes, you were shot. And we had no way to recover your body. I couldn't have been the one to like do anything. It's
What happened to his body?
It wasn't on this plane, was it?
It wasn't. It was.
Oh.
See Arata kind of like take a deep breath, and he goes, "Do you Professor, do you know anything about the collective unconscious, but in relation to Dalcor?
I mean, I know about the fringes of Dalcor, on which uh, the dreams of people on the mortal plane who can dream sort of overlap planarly with the plane of dreams proper. But is that not what you're referring to?
No, it's a bit more kind of sighs and like rubs a hand against his face. It's a bit more complicated than that. It's okay. I'm going to be honest. We don't know how this happened because it was way before our time. But we do know that at some point or another, someone, presumably the Dreaming Dark, had tried to do something, and the end result was this, I guess you could say, like, thin layer of Dalcor is just affected by
People's unconscious thoughts?
Yes. The collective unconscious, like, and it's we've started calling it the Paraverse, and
a sort of dream space.
Yeah.
Or
the whole
mindscape.
Yes. Sort of. It's
but not
like
an individual, a collective, like you said.
Yes.
All right.
But the thing about it is that it is possible for certain cognitions belonging to individuals to become so distorted that they essentially form their own areas,
like a demiplane.
Like a demiplane. Within the collective unconscious, there's these cognitions that belong to certain individuals, and it's shaped by how the world around them. It's not real, but it's like if the real world had been interpreted. And it's real for them, and it's real on Dalcor.
I see.
And
that's where it happened.
That's where it. Yeah. Arata kind of swallows a weight in his throat, and he goes, "That's where it happened. We call these separate cognitions. We call them palaces because they, well, the people they belong to, they they tend to be kind of like, high and mighty. It's corruption, corrupted in power, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it can be something else." And he pauses, getting off track.
Whose collective was this particular misadventure set?
Back, and he goes, "Matsuyoshi Endo, the prime minister, or ex-prime minister, or however you want to call it."
I see.
It's a rather strange cognition, I suppose you could say, but to a man like him, I suppose it makes plenty of his cognition of the our government officials building had been, to put it in simple terms, a cruise ship in a flooded Yedo.
Sammy makes a face.
an arc of the elite. And every intention of tearing the place apart.
But you weren't able to.
I was not able to, because Satomi and his team were always one step ahead of me.
At this, Sammy kind of grins and nudges at Arata's side, just like, hey, you did great.
Arata kind of just doesn't, really respond to that. And he just goes, yeah, gosh, Arata, if you want to say something, you better say it. I'm just like, hello. He kind of takes a deep breath and he says, these cognitions, these palaces, it's not just the world around them. It can also be the people they interact with. The way they see and interpret people can also manifest, and well, Azumi and I, we fought. Damir killed you. And Arata pauses, and he just rubs a hand against his chest. Do the both of you want to roll a quick history?
Well, that's not great.
I mean, Sammy, you already know about this. Oh, jeez. For timeline-wise, excuse me, the sleepover party did in fact happen way before this. Professor, you had only caught a glimpse of it because, he was wearing a loose-fitting shirt, but there had been a very strange-looking discoloration, peeking out from underneath Arata's chest, and, you presume it was a scar of some kind. And, Sammy, I'm going to be real, even with the 6, I'm pretty sure you would have remembered this because Arata did show you this scar.
He just kind of gets closer to Arata and kind of just wraps an arm around Arata, just kind of protectively.
He appreciates it, and he gives your hand a gentle pat, he's gonna be alright. Shoot, I lost my train of thought.
You were explaining, palaces and saying, you said, damn near killed him. And that's when we got to Scar.
Yeah. Right, the scar. Okay, with a 22, Professor, I would say you likely remember it, even though it had been a glimpse, something about it just made you feel off. The discoloration does point towards, some kind of magic scar, but, for some reason, you're not certain what kind of
magic?
Yeah. And, Arata just kind of pauses, and he says, But we beat Azumi first, and well, it was the only way we got him to calm down long enough for him to listen to us, but even then, well, that's when Endo's cognition of Azumi showed up.
And I assume shot this Azumi?
Both of them are quiet. Azumi kind of like looks in Arata's direction. Arata looks away. And he goes, and then Azumi just kind of just takes a breath and says, well, I'd already worn them down by then. There was no way they would have been able to take on that cognition, and what was it, 4 other shadows? They would have died if they had tried to save me, so I did what I thought was best and closed the bulkhead door and, well, faced off against myself.
Mm.
And that was it.
See. So since Arata and the others were unable to recover your body, then surely it wasn't the ex-prime minister who brought you back.
Bring back me, all I was a puppet. Should have known better. Should have just killed him when I had the chance.
But
I
Arata,
don't know
you changed his heart, didn't you?
Are you saying that
Prime
to
Minister,
Arata?
like to Arata?
Oh, yeah, we changed his heart, so, like, without that distortion, that palace would have collapsed, so even if we tried to have gone back, well, the ship was sinking. There wasn't any time to go back and look for him.
Well, puppet or not, are you sure he wouldn't have been the one to at least collect you, Azumi?
He looks up at you, and this is the darkest you have ever seen his expression. And it's not doesn't look. And he says, Matsuyoshi Endo cared for nobody but himself. Everybody else around him, no matter their status, was nothing more but a stepping stone to him. If you were not useful to him, you were killed. And if you were too much of a nuisance, you were killed. He was planning on killing me after the... He was planning on killing me after the election.
Alright, so that's a no on that one. Well, who on earth could have done it? Or, well, who on Tesori? Or who on Dalcor, I suppose.
I mean, we do walk on dirt.
The professor just sort of like...
Well, regardless of who did it, I'm pretty sure there's some ways we can at least check to see if there's something still on you, like some residue, like if
I have something for that. Wait, let me just see if Stone of Truth is concentration. Is it? It is not.
Oh, hell yeah.
Could I, cast Identify?
Identify is a touch-based spell, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I think Azumi knows his spells, enough. He's a detective. He knows these, I forgot the word for it, these, utilitarian type spells.
Detection, yeah.
Yeah, pretty well. So he sees you, like, step forward, and you see him kind of, like, brace himself. You're not gonna have to roll insight. He does not like being touched. But he is letting you cast Identify.
Yeah. I think the professor just, like, puts out his hand. He says, "Your hand, dear." Like, he's not gonna... Huh?
Yeah, he's gonna give it to you.
Yeah. So he just sort of, like, taps the palm of his hand and, casts Identify, and, I will... I mean, you've heard this one a few times. I'll put the description down in here, but it's the last part that's important because it applies to a creature.
Okay. Okay, you, Professor, you pick up on two things. And I'll just start with this. You do pick up on necromancy. Shoot. It is high-level necromancy. It's hard to put a name to it because, I'm gonna be real, I could not find a good spell that I was looking for. So, like, it is definitely a higher level. This has been something that has been cast by someone who is definitely powerful, but that's not all. Professor, you sense enchantment.
Oh dear. Oh gosh.
It is familiar to you. I will say this. It is familiar to you. It is like someone has taken the spell Geas, but has cut out certain things from its spell description. As far as you can tell, this enchantment isn't meant to hurt Azumi. But it's still enchantment. And while you're still casting this, do you mind rolling me a con save?
Oh, fantastic. All right, so yeah, let me roll that con for you. All right, so this was my that was my deception, but my con...
I'm not hurting you, by the way. I'm not making you take damage.
No, that's fine. I wouldn't care anyway. Con save. 22.
Woo! Okay. All right. Professor, as you're casting Identify and as you actually, like, pin down what you're sensing, to the point you almost, like, put a name to it, you... Oh gosh. how do I describe this in a way that makes sense? It's like you're hearing something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like faint ringing in your ears, and but it's not like the normal kind of ringing.
Yeah.
It's like microphone feedback. And the longer you're holding on to Azumi's hand, the more you realize that there is this feeling in your hand, in your own fingers, that feels like light static, pins and needles.
Yikes. Okay, let me just look at something real quick. Okay, the professor, well, he failed his deception check, so you can see, his face go from, like, sort of, like, pretty, like, blasé, curiosity to, like, displeasure, and then he'd like and then he's like he outright like frowns, and he actually grabs Azumi's hand with both of his, and casts calm emotions. Can you roll a charisma save, please?
Yeah, hang on a second. Okay. Remind me what this does.
Oh, yeah.
4 plus, what was it? Oh, what is your save? This is the wrong sheet!
Huh. Well, guess Sammy's rolling a charisma save as well. Because it's a radius effect.
It is, yeah, Arata and Sammy are also gonna have to...
Alright.
I am so sorry, but...
Azumi had an 8.
Oh no, Sammy! Okay,
And Arata got a 15.
And Arata got a 15. Okay, Arata's the only one who passes. If a creature fails the saving throw, choose one of the following effects. Suppress any effect causing a target to be charmed or frightened. So the professor takes the effect on Azumi and is choosing to suppress it for up to 1 minute, it says. Alternatively, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's not going to do that. He is doing it for the, like, mechanic part.
And, yeah, Azumi fails that.
I'm just kind of imagining, like, that Sammy, who'd been kind of just sitting, vibing, kind of gets smacked with the radius of that, and then just kind of wheezes slightly and then just sits down.
Oh, sorry, Sammy.
Yeah, no, you see Azumi, you grab both Azumi's hands in both of your own, and he kind of just looks at you like, what are you? And, like, realization dawns on him, and he stares back at you.
Mm-hmm. He just, he is, God, I don't have a lot of time for this. He is scowling, and he just says, he says, Azumi, what's different? What's different? I'm suppressing the charm. What's changed? You're under some sort of pseudo-geas.
In the background, Sammy's face is turning green.
Yeah, no, you say Gias and Arata just bulks and, like, covers his face, well, covers his mouth with both hands. And, like...
I can only hold this for a minute. Is anything different?
I mean, Avi, I'm trying to put this into words.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. Yeah,
yeah, like this is not taking as long as it is out of character.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, like I'm trying to put it into words.
That's fair.
And like, oof, I don't know how to put it in a way that Azumi would. I think he just he says that, like, I had no intention of. Oh, oh, I see. It's. Let me hear. Well, I wanted to reconcile in the first place. There you go. That's what you have. He wanted to reconcile.
He wanted to reconcile?
Yeah, like... I don't know how else to put it in words.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wanted to come here and essentially, if not rebuild his relationship with Satomi, but, like, at least get on equal footing again.
Uh-huh.
But judging from what he just said, it seems like he had been planning to do that anyway.
Huh.
It's almost like somebody did this for insurance.
Okay, I see. Okay. The professor looks less angry and more puzzled. And he shakes his head and he says, Who would have had the chance to cast this on you? Who would have known the context? Did you promise anybody to make good on something, anything?
There's a pause between both Arata and Azumi as they both look at each other. And he you see Arata's hand slip into his pocket, and Azumi grabs his left hand with his right, and he says, "The only promise with Satomi."
Sorry, you cut out.
What
was it you said? The only promise...
The only promise I made was with Satomi.
And you don't think it would have been magically charged to cause this?
This wasn't a pinky promise. I'm not sure if that's...
From the ground, there's just like a very wobbly, I can cast detect magic if we want to make sure that nothing is affecting the both of you.
I don't know if that'll be necessary, dear. But and the professor has by now let go of Azumi, and he just sort of shakes his head, and I think he leans down to help Sammy to his feet. But he says, I only hope that now that you're here, that effect will dismiss itself, because that's quite the charm on you. That's quite the charm you have on you there.
But yeah,
In addition to the expected bit of necromancy.
so quote unquote zombie, but not really.
Well, he's been resurrected. That's necromancy.
Necromancy doesn't always mean that, like, they come back as a zombie.
No, it covers all of those bases.
Yeah, but just when you put in Toontown, you kind of expect zombies to pop up.
No, that's all right, dear. I can understand that myself. I've gone up against too many.
Sammy just kind of shudders, and like his shading goes from green to purple for a moment. You get the feeling that he really does not like the undead. They freak him out.
The professor gives him a pat.
Especially real kind undead. That's not supposed to happen.
Oh goodness. We look Virtuoso's flourish.
Yeah.
Ben's birthday bash.
Honestly, that's probably one of the reasons why Sammy took the opportunity to book it to Bevan.
Yeah. No, and you can absolutely surmise that, like, any enemies that the professor has faced in the past that were undead were exclusively real goblins.
But yeah,
So
Sammy's just kind of looking at Arata a little concerned because if it had been on Azumi, does that mean that it had been on Arata? He is concerned.
I mean, like, as far as, like, you can tell, there had been no change with Arata. But also, I did, in fact, roll a whiz save for Azumi.
Oh no.
He got a fucking 10, even with the advantage. And Sammy, you're looking towards Arata. Arata still looks, like, incredibly concerned with Azumi as he's, like, staring at his old rival, who he knows very well. And Azumi's got his face in one hand. And his shoulders are shaking.
I feel like Sammy would notice that Arata's just staring intently at his rival and just kind of turns and just winces and goes, you can't tell if that's laughter or crying, or both.
Nothing changes.
Sorry? Changes?
Nothing is ever changing. Dying.
You're worried that dying changed nothing?
Don't you get it?
Actually, no. I don't really get it, so if somebody could please explain this, I would appreciate it.
Azumi looks. He doesn't pull his face entirely out from his hands. But it's just enough that he's looking between his fingers, and oh, if looks could kill.
Sammy just kind of winces.
And he just goes, nothing changed. One time. Even now after dying. Nothing more than just a puppet.
Well, that's bullshit. 'Cause if you're thinking that nobody cared or that everything was for nothing, you still kind of got what you wanted with Arata and his team basically doing what you really couldn't. But, well, you're making connections now, plus Arata really missed you. Like, when he told me about what happened to you, he was distraught that you were gone. You were missed. You know that, right? Your impact was not insignificant. And
No.
your impact now isn't insignificant. You've affected me, you've affected Professor, you've affected Camille, Moria, the case you were on, the cases you're working on. You're important.
I only recognized you from the mark you left on Arata.
Satomi always did have that trouble. Caring far more than he should.
Well, it beats not caring at all because, believe me, being numb to everything, packing sucks.
Okay. Okay. He's not getting out of this anytime soon. I'm sorry, guys.
Poor Azumi.
The professor sort of, when Sammy says that, he rubs at his shoulder a little bit. Just, sort of a comforting pat to Sammy.
Oh, goodness. I think, sorry. You see, there's a pause as this hangs in the air, and Arata says something in Undercommon, and
Oh my god.
yeah, Azumi looks up at him, and there's just this look of just sheer, utter confusion. And he just goes, "Are you stupid?" I tried to kill you twice!
You know, when I heard that, I was all ready to kick your butt for that, but when I saw Arata just mourning you and caring for you. People can still care about other people even when they've hurt you. It can be messed up, but it happens. And honestly, from what I've seen, you're worth caring about. Even if you've packed up a lot.
Oh, Sammy, you just said the wrong thing.
Darn it. Sammy's trying to be all heartfelt, and this is the wrong thing, apparently, and I'm dying.
You see Azumi, you hear Azumi just snort, and he looks away from you.
Sammy just kind of wilts a little bit.
Sorry. I just saw the goddamn gallery. Thank you, Fletch.
Kazoo noises intensify.
He snorts and he looks away and he just goes, no wonder you two are brothers.
Now, can you stop being snarky for 1 second? He's trying to be nice.
Don't see why.
He just said why.
Look. Basically, what it boils down to is, yeah, you're an asshole. But with Arata here, and like, Sammy kind of just leans on Arata's shoulders. Well, you're his asshole. I'm sorry.
You hear there is a laughter that sounds quite a bit like meowing coming from the counter.
Sammy just kind of looks over at Jeannie and goes, I'm trying, Jeannie.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah, but you're laughing at me. Like, no shit. Like, Sammy's shading was, like, all, like, golden and orange, and, like, now it's just turning pink.
Does anybody want to roll insight on this poor man?
I got a nat 20!
Oh, fuck!
And, let me just... And an unnatural 21 from Sammy!
Oh, goodness. Oh, I feel like I have to give Professor something because of that nat 20. Oh my goodness, that is wonderful. As I tried to, like, figure out how to put this into words, the kind of man you're looking at here, well, straight up and down, it's not the kind of man who sees himself as being worth something. How do I put this into words? You both know that, you both know that, Azumi has killed people. He's not a good person by any means. In fact, Professor, you distinctly remember that Azumi straight up told you that he does not see himself as the textbook definition of a good person.
Yes.
You're starting to see why. And he's doing a pretty decent job at, like, keeping it, like, under wraps, but there is... Oof. There is a kind of... There is a kind of suffering this man has gone through.
Mm.
And because of that, Sammy's saying this is, like... For him, it's like talking to a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like, something, like, stopping him from making that connection of, like, it's alright to be cared for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. The professor just sort of, like, he says, Azumi, it's not too late to change.
And bad people can still do good. It's... Sammy kind of, he sits down, kind of like on the floor, kind of, by Arata's feet, and he actually kind of looks away from the entire group and goes, and good people can do bad things. This didn't really make the papers, but when Arata and everyone else rescued me, one of Sinclair's men got in my way, and I found out that he didn't make it. Besides the clerics doing their best to fix what I've done. So, good people can do bad things, and bad people can do good. Good and bad. You're putting
It's
yourself
bullshit.
into a box. Yeah, it is bullshit. We're all just people. We're just...
Alright. He's at least calmer now.
Good.
I don't think you guys... Yeah, no, I don't think it's gotten through to him. But there's this pause as he looks, this moment as he looks up to Arata. And he goes, shoot, what were you going to say? I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay, both boys have a lot of emotions. It's okay.
Oh, goodness.
Only emotions, no words.
Oh, goodness. Oh goodness, I had it and I lost it. I am so sorry, guys. Let me just try and come up with something else.
It's okay.
Yeah. And the baby's crying in the background. And Arata kind of like sighs. And he goes, again, he says something in Undercommon, and he's just there's a certain kind of emotion that's like you're not sure quite where to like place it, somewhere between mourning and somewhere between like relief.
Mm.
And Azumi just shakes his head. And he goes, can't exactly say that I know what guilt feels like. Never really regretted anything. At least I don't believe so.
I don't think that's correct. I'm pretty sure you expressed guilt just earlier today.
Kind of looks in your direction like, what?
What did I say? I asked, oh yes, that's what it was. I asked if you felt guilty about leading a young man to his death. Arata, specifically. The night when he faked his death. You were deeply affected by it. A man who does not feel guilt is not deeply affected by the death of some criminal.
I shake this man, he is just so stupid. He's just kind of staring at you owlishly.
The professor is just like, that's what guilt is. Like, he's just explaining.
Oh my gosh, he looks at you like, oh goodness.
Sammy's just kind of squinting at Azumi and then kind of just goes, do I need to drag you to Prismatone to make sure that you don't have an emotional block?
Oh, fuck's sake, I'm not getting involved with a god.
Hey, she's nice.
I mean, yeah, she kind of is. I don't. That's the last thing I need. More whatever this is. And he kind of gestures to, like, being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy just kind of folds his arms and goes, I mean, look, when suppressing your emotions / not really registering them can really hurt you. And I'm talking from experience. And, like, maybe you just need to sit down with your emotions and figure out what the heck is going on in that detective skull of yours.
If you're looking over to Arata by any chance, he's trying to hold back a laugh. He's just, man, you're so stupid. And Zumi just shoots him a glare.
And, like, while we're on the subject, I think you should take this being alive as an opportunity. It
would really be a waste if you didn't.
If you're unhappy with how things went last time, why don't you try and do better?
Well, I've already made up my mind about that. He kind of just sighs and relaxes a bit, and he takes a deep breath and he just goes, I intend to at least get my affairs here in Inkwell in order before then, but in the future, whenever I return to Yedo, to Okashima, I have full intention of turning myself in for committing the mental shutdowns outbreak from 2 years ago.
That's actually really honorable of you.
Is it, is that a good idea? Is that,
Is it good? I have no idea, but...
Well, I mean, considering the law there, from what you've told me.
He takes a deep breath and kind of frowns, because you do have a point, but he just... This is a stubborn young man.
The professor is just, he puts a hand up and he says, like, I'm all for admitting to your crimes, but if the law is going to charge you unfairly, then you have no obligation to submit to it.
And, Arata kind of, like, pauses, and he goes, I might know a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah, she's actually the older sister of one of our, teammates. She helped overturn the verdict on my probation.
Oh.
She's amazing, but Azumi kind of shifts uncomfortably. If you guys want to roll another insight, you can. But, yeah.
Oh, I got
Sammy
10.
got a 6.
Oh no! Yeah, no. Azumi kind of just shifted uncomfortably at the mention of this lawyer. And Arata goes, I mean, she's kind of she's kind of cutthroat, I guess is a word for it, but there's no way that under her watch someone's going to get judged unfairly.
Oh, there you go.
It's been a while since I've seen Yoshihiko-san. I'm not sure if that picked up.
Yeah, I heard it.
Same.
And Azumi just doesn't really say anything about it. Good idea or not, it's personal principle that I repay my debts. And he looks over to Arata. There's another heavy moment before he says, for what it's worth, probably not much at this point, but thank you for changing Endo's heart. And Arata just kind of laughs like he just heard like a funny joke, and he says, I mean, what were we gonna do? Not do it? You that was the last thing you ever asked of me. Ass.
Don't mind me and Sammy having emotions.
The professor, sort of like, uh, he his expression is a little mischievous, and he puts his hands on his hips and cocks his head, and he says, "Well, you came here to reconcile, didn't you? Uh, aren't you going to apologize?"
There's Azumi kind of like glances away. Like, he's never done this before, and he doesn't know how to do it because, oh my god, if you knew the body count on his hands,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know how to, like, put it into words.
Uh-huh. Can the professor, can I roll insight to see if he picks up that, like, that's sort of what he's thinking, or, like,
Yeah.
that's the
Go ahead.
vibe? Haha! I got a 19.
Yeah, no, this, oh god.
So he's got, like, some,
He,
uh, ironically, some guilt, or at least some cognitive dissonance.
yeah, it's like, he's trying to figure out, like, should he apologize for killing that many people, or should he just, like, apologize for nearly killing Satomi twice?
The professor just sort of, like, uh, he shakes his head and he says, "Let's focus on one thing at a time. You've you've changed from how you used to be, whether you think you have or not. Evidence would point to the fact that you have. Um, and you're you're what, 20 something? You have plenty of time to uh to atone and to just do different things. You don't have to, you're not stuck being what you are. Believe me, I know people who are far further along the path that you used to be on. And, well, perhaps it's stupid of me, but I still offer them chances to change. Most of them don't take it, to be fair, but when they do, it can be quite something.
Kind of laughs to himself. I'm gonna be real with that 19.
Mm-hmm.
You have a feeling he's thinking the same thing he said about you and Trickster earlier.
Mm-hmm.
About you two being very alike.
I mean, to be fair, I've made my own fair share of mistakes, so it'd be hypocritical of me to judge other people too harshly.
See him kind of like tap a hand against like his lap as he like again tries to think, and he says, "I'm not sure where to begin."
We could begin with Arata,
Even then,
the murder attempts. He just sort of rolls his eyes
no,
like, I
no.
think it should be obvious.
And then Arata just kind of like smirks and he goes, again, dumbass.
The
And
professor interjects. He just says, like, he says, I'm not trying to be patronizing, but you're making it difficult.
I mean, you can just start with the words, I'm sorry?
Even then, that doesn't feel enough, but I suppose better than nothing.
It's at least a start. And that's the
Indeed.
important thing, honestly.
I am sorry. I had been convinced that I hated you. But then again, well, if nothing else, this conversation has pointed to the fact that I do not apparently know my own emotions, so I don't hate you. And Arata just kind of like smirks, and it's the trickster kind of smirk. Sammy, you've seen this on your brother's face before. The only thing that's missing is the mask. And he just goes, yeah, you dumb fucking idiot, I already know that.
Sammy just kind of just lightly nudges Arata's knee because he's still sitting down and he's just like, be nice. He's trying to apologize. Well, he's not trying. He is apologizing. It's actually a really good apology, so be nice.
I'm gonna roll to see something. Yeah! Okay. As I try to figure out how to put this into words, Sammy, you nudge your brother's leg. He just kind of like lets out a loose laugh as he kind of like relents, and like Azumi's not even standing. Arata's been standing this whole time, but like Azumi has not, and Arata just like, it's quick. He pulls Azumi into a hug, and I'm gonna be real, this man is, the way he's just standing there, he's been pulled onto his feet by Arata for this hug. His arms are just kind of like frozen in air, and he's just like, Satomi. Okay. Just letting this happen.
If anyone were to look at Sammy, he's just watching this with a very self-satisfied grin.
And there's a moment where oh gosh, Azumi's expression looks rather surprised, like he's not exactly sure how to respond to this. Just gently gives Arata a pat on the back.
You hug back. Wrap your arms around him and hug back.
Shoots you a glare like, come on, this man does not like being touched. He's barely handling this.
Sammy is grinning unrepentantly. His shading is bright yellow.
And he just kind of like, alright, you sentimental idiot, get off of me. And Arata just kind of laughs. Let's go, and he goes, blow hard. And Azumi just snarks back. Show off. You jumped through. I saw you. You jumped through that glass window. I can't believe you did that.
Sammy just kind of nods. That sounds like him.
What was I supposed to do? We had like an entire police force on. You sick that you have no right to say anything about that. You brought those dogs on me.
All right, lads, you're both pretty.
And Azumi just kind of like crosses his arms. There's this look on his face, this kind of like playful smirk that even though you've never seen him with it, it suits him. And he kind of just settles back a little bit and he goes, is there how much longer is there left on the spell, the zone of truth?
Oh, that's probably let me see. I think the professor just sort of he just like looks as if like he completely forgot about it. Like, he has to think like, oh yeah, I was doing spells, wasn't I? And he's just like, oh yeah, no, that's like long over. Like at least several minutes ago.
At least several minutes ago. Oh shit, he can lie again. Oh god damn it. But he kind of like sobers up a little bit. Thank you, Fletch. So he kind of like sobers up a little bit, and he goes, Well, I still have full intention of turning myself in, regardless of whatever happens to me afterwards. At the very least, can I ask you two to look into this in some way, whatever you can?
I mean, we still need to find whoever brought you back to either punch them in the face or say thank you.
Maybe both.
Likely both. And, oh goodness.
The professor is gonna offer, he says, would you like me to check and see if that, charm's, dismissed itself yet?
And, he holds out a hand for you. If you would?
Yeah, he casts Identify again. Oh, no, not Identify. What was it? Oh, wait. No, it is Identify. Yeah, that's the one. Yes, he casts that.
Yeah, that enchantment is gone. That lingering, but the lingering, necromancy is still there. I'm not gonna make you roll that con save again, because oof, what if I actually do hurt you?
I want to see if it happens. I'm
if you want to roll for it.
I got a 7.
Oh goodness. Yeah, no, the ringing, the microphone feedback sounds louder,
Mhm.
and it loud enough that like it probably does give you like a bit of a reflex when you
Mhm.
when you let go of Azumi, and that pins and needly feeling. Yeah, you know that feeling when it's been cold enough that you've lost feeling in your fingertips?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it
Mm.
feels like.
And is that from the necromancy?
You're not sure.
Okay, but it's not clear whether it's from that or the charm or something else.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
Um,
when
yeah, he.
Professor lets go, is it kind of obvious that like something happened?
Oh, yeah, no, he like as soon as like he gets a read and then like he holds on, I guess, like a second too long, and it just sort of he reacts like he got shocked or something, and just sort of um uh like it flaps his hand in the air and sort of rubs at his fingertips like ow. um
Sammy kind of squints at that and just kind of goes under his breath. Okay, that's it, and he's gonna cast detect magic, and it is up to 10 minutes. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any.
I will say, while you're doing that, the professor does say, as he's still kind of shaking out his hands, he says, charm seems to be gone, traces of necromancy still present. I don't know what that is. And he sort of looks at his hand and looks at Azumi and just sort of like shrugs, like I legitimately have no idea.
Assuming kind of just like looks at you like the only magic he can do are he's an arcane trickster. He can only do like enchantment and illusions. So
Mm-hmm.
he just gives you a shrug in return. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So this is just an area of effect. So I'm going
Yep.
to say that.
Oh, that's fun. Within 30 feet of you? Oh, I
Yep.
have some stuff for you.
All right, let me clarify. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. You do pick up on the necromancy. On Azumi, and you do feel that the that enchantment is like fading. Um. Uh, uh, you do see the magic items that both Arata and Azumi have. Um, one of which Sammy, you've seen your brother use this during the Change of Heart session. Um, it's an item, the Sending Stone that Arata used. Azumi seems to have one of his own, um, and that has both evocation and conjuration.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, yeah. I'm not sure how to put this into words because I do think this would pick up. I'm just trying to decide. Hang on, let me flip a coin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess not.
Oop.
Yeah, no, even though you saw the professor react, you can't sense what it is exactly.
Mm.
Sammy just kind of squints and grumbles as he shakes his head. And yeah, no, not sensing anything.
Oh, I will say from the professor, you can see his coat, his long white coat that has like black accents. It is like blasted with like warding magic. um it is like super magical. um Other than that, he has a uh a tune make, so it looks like a sewing pin, with a sort of rounded tip, uh um actually uh, pinned to the lapel of his coat. That is also very magical. And that is um uh what is that? Uh eh, it's divination magic. And the last thing is, there seems to be a small magic item in his shoe.
Oh my god!
Okay, I just rolled a thing really quick just to see if. Okay, that is a 8 plus 7. Yeah, no, he doesn't sneeze the heck out of all of the magic that he saw coating Professor's coat, because I like to imagine that magic has a smell to it. So he doesn't sneeze, but like there's like a little bit of like a wrinkle to his nose because whoo, magic. And then and I'm just gonna actually roll to see if he recognizes.
I was gonna say, you could roll history or something if you want, or religion, either one or something else.
Well, I was rolling to see if he would recognize the pin.
That's what I mean.
Shirt. Oh, religion?
You could if you wanted. He's a freaking god.
Fair enough, but that's the same modifier, so it's a
oh,
+1.
honey.
He got a 5. He's just like squinting at the pin, going like, there's something niggling at the back of my head, and then he just is distracted by the fact that he really, really, really wants to sneeze, but like it's just tingling his nose, so he doesn't actually sneeze. He just kind of goes cross-eyed and is looking at his nose at this point.
Yeah, really, most of what you notice is that it's not real kind, and like there's something else bugging you, but like that's it. That's all you get. You'll figure it out someday.
Yeah, he'll figure it out someday. He's still kind of confused about why the inside of the ellipsis looks familiar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. But like, did you find anything?
Just basically what Professor found. By the way, Professor, you have way too much magic on that coat.
Well, it is,
like, I mean, it's probably necessary, but man, ooh, it's bright and I want to sneeze.
Oh. Well, it is a legendary.
It's a legendary item?
All three heads turn in your direction, like, hello?
He puts his hand to the back of his neck and is just sort of like,
They're just like,
that's why I got it fixed instead of getting it replaced.
Sammy's just kind of staring like, hello?
Azumi just kind of like looks off to the side, like, now we don't have time to unpack all of that. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. back to the point,
Yeah, you've certainly got something else going on there, but
Maybe it just
the enchantment seems
passed.
to have faded.
Like,
that's
maybe the
good.
thing that activated with Professor, maybe it just passed too quickly for detect magic to even register? You
I
know,
don't.
have a really fast half-life?
But I sensed it the first time I checked him too. It
Maybe
can't be short term. This was on for the past however long it's been since he got here.
Well, I mean, like sense-wise, it has a half-life. Like, because it activated and then just went silent. So I think the person who put it on him, for whatever reason, who I don't think they want Azumi to be checked necessarily.
Oh,
I suppose that's one theory. Another theory could be it's... you weren't hurt, were you, Professor?
what? Oh, no, I'm fine.
Likely it might be a side effect. That is a rather powerful. Bringing back somebody from the dead in one piece is quite powerful. It's a feat on its own. It might.
Well, yes, but I've met a few people, I mean, aside from the undead, but I've met a few people, some of them just recently, who've been, properly brought back to the dead, blah, blah, brought back from the dead, multiple times, in fact, and they've had no such effect on me.
And how long? How long ago had they died, per se?
One of them, it had been a few months. One of them, it had been minutes. Others, usually years or longer.
Hmm.
This mystery just keeps getting more and more mysterious.
Arata just kind of snickers at that. Whatever way you look at it, this is weird. Why would anybody?
Well, the first question we really should be asking is, how did they get to the Paraverse in the first place? Because the commonality between you two is you have a way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
do you know of anyone else who has... he just kind of gestures.
Arata just kind of shakes his head and he goes, other than the other members of the Spirit Rogues, not really.
I suppose it's not something that,
Oh, no, it's not.
anybody could,
I mean, if you've been to Dalcor with your ship, like you said, you probably could get to the Paraverse, but like the way we get there, it's not an easy
it's
mode of
unique.
trains. Yeah, no, there's only so many of these things, and he pulls out the sending stone. Don't need a roll perception. There is an odd marking on it that looks like an eye, and the pupil is in the shape of a star.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "There's only a set number of these, and theoretically there could be more, but after he does like a mental calculation, and he goes, after, well, with Azumi, that would be, I think, 12. after 12 of these, I don't think Shiro has it in him to make more.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out who has access first. And once we figure out who has access, I think we're gonna find our suspect.
Yeah. I mean... Arata kind of looks over to Azumi and he goes, Endo was looking into cognitive science. Do you know if... I would not know if those files are still on record. The man's been in jail for 2 years, and God knows what happened with the rest of his entourage. We would be incredibly lucky to find those records again. Your best bet would be to get in contact with Ashikaga. And Arata winces.
Would Sammy recognize that name or no?
Yeah, no, Ashikaga is the name of Arata's little sister's last name.
Well, at least it's a direction. We can start looking into that.
Well, in the meantime, you can be, I suppose, I suppose you don't really... Well, you've met Arata again. You've got the answers that, what answers we do have. You can go about the rest of your life doing things differently than before. I only recommend you stop being quite so facetious. A front is useful, but I mean, my goodness, the first time we met, you really came off as quite the doormat. You don't...
Suppose I could go both ways.
And I mean, if you have a public persona, that's... A lot of people have that, but you should at least let a few people see the real you, because it's not healthy just sticking to that one persona, because you're silencing your real self, and that's not good.
This is coming from someone who has yet to see my real self.
Look, if he likes you, Sammy points to Arata, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a reason why. And I trust my brother's judgment. And hey, if it means we butt heads, we butt heads. That's how people work.
I suppose it's only fair to say this before anything happens, on the off chance that we do get another case. He glances in your direction, Sammy. I am not exactly the easiest to calm down when I am angry.
There is a very visible wince. You can roll insight.
Asking this boy to roll insight?
Yes.
That's a 24, my boy.
With that 24, you get the very quick realization that, oh, oof. Sammy can relate to that a lot more than he'd like.
Well, I'll unpack that later.
Sounds like you two need a chaperone.
I'm not a child, Professor.
You don't have to be a child to need a chaperone.
Azumi once again pinches the bridge of his nose.
You need somebody to give you emotional guidance.
Look, emotions are hard when you've suppressed them for 8 years.
I know, dear. I know.
Try 15.
Sammy just kind of like opens his mouth, shuts it, kind of raises his finger for a moment, opens his mouth again, and then shuts it and goes, I'm at least inviting you to my garden. Once. Because we'll work on this together. We'll figure this out together, okay? Because I'm relating to you way too much.
And there's a smirk on his face, like, okay, this rainbow kid is kind of funny, and he just Azumi kind of like realizes something, and he goes, oh yes, one more thing. Sammy Satomi.
Yes?
You really need to watch what comes out of your mouth. You called trickster Arata to my face.
There is a very visible wilt.
Was this before or after he thought you were undead?
Azumi kind of looks over to Sammy.
There is more wilting.
Oh dear.
Arata just kind of like pats your shoulders, Sammy.
He just like
He just goes,
looks,
we'll work on it.
he just looks like one of those like dogs that got really wet and looks really, really sad about it. And as he looks at you, Arata, because he didn't mean to, he just freaked out.
Well, I'm on the one hand glad it was with Detective Azumi and not anybody else. Oh god. On the other hand, we do need to work on that.
He looks so downtrodden. Like, he feels so bad.
Let me know it's okay. Just hear that like distressed chattering.
Yeah, the professor sort of gives Sammy a sympathetic pat, like, yeah, revealing Arata's secrets, huh? Unintentionally. Can't imagine how that feels.
Oh my god. Oh, everybody say hi to the baby.
Baby!
Hey!
We have a baby in
leaves.
this house.
He leaves. Alright,
yeah, Sammy he tries so hard, but then something happens and then his thought process goes out the window.
Well, I suppose in Sammy's defense, I did, well, threaten to capture Trickster. so I can see the... He looks in your direction. Leaping, but without thinking. Is that something all your siblings have? And Arata just kind of just... Hi, baby, welcome back!
The baby is back.
The baby has returned.
Aiden, I can't do this right now! Aiden, I can't do this right now.
Avi, tell the baby we say hi.
Bye, Aiden!
Or bye, I guess.
He
Baby
ran
does
off
what he
just
wants.
as he said that. Oh my gosh.
Baby noises, my beloved.
Alright, I'm gonna have to, like, see what the baby, like, needs.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, like, we're gonna break here, because I'm just gonna, like, I'll be right back.
Alright. I'm just sitting here. Sammy just genuinely feels so bad. He's just like, he cares for Arata so much. Him and his big mouth.
Mm-hmm. The professor will, after this, like, apologize to Sammy for just sort of like not warning him before casting. What is it?
Calm emotions.
Calm emotions. Yeah.
Like, it wasn't as bad as if Professor was actively suppressing the emotion to, like, make people friendly towards them.
Yeah, that part. Like
that
he
part
could
was
have,
fine, but like, it was more of, like, the feeling of that type of magic that freaked him out, so he had to take a shit.
Yeah. No, it's, yeah.
Yeah, like, if honestly, I think if it had been the suppress emotion bit, I think he would have panicked and run out the door.
Yeah, understandable. That's like one of the worst things I can imagine.
Yep.
Yeah. No, he, honestly, I got that spell, but I was like, I don't really want to use it for that. So I think I'm only ever gonna, unless something like really comes up, like I only really see myself using that the sort of more utilitarian dismiss fear or charm bit.
Yeah, like, I didn't even know it had that element to it.
Yeah, like, because it's used a lot for
crowd control.
Yeah, it is. Crowd control, and, like, you know, people will use it for, like, not that it isn't, like, a working D&D spell, but because it is, but, like, for, like, people will use it more for, like, roleplay stuff, or, like, persuasion type deals. But, like, I mean, that middle part, I think, is, like, the most useful.
Like, it definitely is, especially with, like, certain plot points that certain people like to run.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look at myself.
He posts this back into chat.
Welcome back.
Hi. Yeah, no, the baby was just, like, whining so much because he wanted, I guess, something to drink. Like, he straight up handed me the bottle, and I'm just like, oh, honey. Why couldn't you bother your parents?
Bless.
We were at, man, where did we leave off?
Basically, Sammy, has revealed, to Azumi's face, Trickster is Arata.
Yeah.
Sammy felt guilty about that, and I think Azumi was teasing Sammy about it.
A little bit.
Sammy was getting teased a little bit about it, but God, if I remember my train of thought right now. I apologize for the listeners. Oh boy. But like, yeah, Arata has given you a pat on the shoulder. And, he kind of looks over in action, and,
Sorry, in whose direction?
In Azumi's direction.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's this moment where, like, the mischievous smirk on his face, kind of, like, softens, and he goes, "So are you gonna keep your promise?" And Azumi kind of just looks at him, surprised, and, almost unconsciously, he brings his left hand into his right, and he goes, "I think that depends on if you kept yours."
What's this promise about?
And Arata kind of reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out something. I can't remember if Sammy ever saw this.
He did.
But yes, okay, he did see this. And what he pulls out is a glove. A glove for the right hand. And it is exactly the same make and the same material as the glove that Azumi is wearing on his left hand. And he goes, and Azumi just sighs, and he goes, 2 years that you kept that on you. You really are a sentimental idiot.
You've been wearing yours on your left hand for 2... Well, actually, I don't know.
didn't say I was any better.
Good, because you're not.
Yeah, and Arata kind of just kind of shrugs, and he says, "Well, you still have yet to beat me. So what do you say? One more sparring match sometime soon?" And the look Azumi has on his face is kind of difficult to read for a moment. Oh gosh, what's he gonna say? He kind of looks away, and then he looks back and he says, "Well, I'll have to see when I'm available, considering how many." Puts his hand to his face and goes, "Considering how many cases I've got involved with just you." But I would like that. I am going to beat your ass into the ground. And Arata just lets out a bark of laughter.
Sammy just kind of looks between the two of them and raises an eyebrow and goes, "Okay, do you guys need a cleric on site, or are you guys going to be good?"
Arata kind of looks... Yeah, no, that was affectionate. Arata kind of looks at Azumi, like, that raised brow of, like, well? Azumi just kind of sighs, and he says, "Likely, yes."
Alright, let's make sure that all three of us are free, and also, Azumi, welcome to Einquill. The plot finds you.
Hmm. Quite a better welcome than when I first woke up.
Where did you wake up, actually?
Apparently, I was found in a couple of boxes in the alleyway beside an apartment.
That's ominous. In Yeto
Did
or
you
here?
Here in
did you
Inkwell.
did you investigate the place?
The kind of facial journey that like Azumi has with that question alone, and he just goes, "Yes."
All right.
Oh, thank you, Kit. um, he goes, "That is again rather odd, though. Bringing me directly to Inkwell rather than Yedo. It would have been easier just to have believed me there."
Maybe whoever it was wanted you and Arata to meet.
Well, that is what the what that spell was for, so we can assume they were applied by the same person.
Okay, but what purpose would it be for Azumi and Arata to meet again? Like,
No,
I don't
yes,
know.
yes,
Did
yes,
you
yes, yes. What purpose would that? Who would that benefit?
I don't know. Did you piss off any deities?
Erotic kind of just snorts. Both of them are dead.
Ah, well, all right, not that then.
I mean, is this a positive thing that they wanted? Cause
I mean, as it is currently, well, we don't have much to go on. So, working theory be that somebody wanted us to reconcile not because it benefited them, but because he looks over in Arata's direction. It may have benefited Trickster.
Arata, have you talked to anyone about Trickster? Sorry, Azumi disappearing and dying on you?
Other than you, not really. Or any of the. I mean, the other spirit rogues know. God, they would never pull anything like this, though.
Yeah, no, they don't seem the type, but Arata, there has to be someone who knew. Because if anyone's benefiting from this, it's you and Azumi.
By extension, Trickster.
Yeah.
So, seems like they would be an ally in any case. Or something a little more nebulous than that, but not, it seems, an enemy.
Well,
Fascinating.
I mean, yeah, I missed Azumi, but this is.
Just
God, I've been. I mean, going as far as bringing him back from the dead?
That's
without
just it. You don't only not have him as an enemy anymore, but you now have him, and he sort of waves his hand at Azumi, like, theoretically, as an ally now.
what are they preparing you for?
Wait, the and the professor glances at glances at Azumi. Sure, she knows. He says, the people who... He looks at Arata. He says, the people who chose you. Could it be them?
Arata splutters and he goes, "Oh God, no! I don't." He looks over to Genevieve, and Genevieve just shakes his head. "We're just observers. We don't interfere on this degree."
So, a third party.
Seems so.
What do they want?
I could probably try and get in contact with the lady on his and see what she knows, but
Well, any information is good information at this point. We're starting basically from ground zero and going outward. So we have a few potential leads. We have the science thingy or whatever. We've got
cognitive science with a P.
Cognitive science. Sammy just kind of nods to himself like, right. That's what that is. He has no idea what that really means. He's just kind of going with it. He's a toon. He's not science-y at all. And then he goes, we have your connection with the people who let you do this, Arata, and those are our two first kind of options. But we're gonna need to keep our eyes out for anything else coming up.
And whenever we do go back to Yedo, I might have to talk to some people. This feels... I know I'm just, like, going back in circles, but this feels wrong, you know?
In
what sort of way?
Well, it's kind of fishy that no one's approached Arata to even, like, say, hey, your friend, well, your rival is back from the dead. Here's it's fixed. It's fixed now. I can either have a reward or just your thank you as a reward. There's none of that. People usually want to be at least thanked. Why haven't they approached Arata? Unless they want something or they're preparing for something and...
It's definitely a bigger picture thing. It's somebody, some higher power, be they literally a higher power or just a powerful mortal, but you said people usually ask for a thank you or reward. In my experience, the most powerful people with the most powerful, and he glances at Azumi, pawns, don't ask for such things. They prefer to sit back and watch the show and get their enjoyment that way.
Sammy kind of just makes a face, and he's just like, but...
Arata grimaces. Oh, I swear to God, if this is like some Holy Grail Part 2, I'm gonna die. That's it, I'm just gonna die.
If you guys are being messed with just for some sick form of enjoyment or leverage or whatever, I'm just gonna march right up to them and give them a good old 1-2.
I think that does get Azumi to laugh as well.
Like, there is, like, a quietly muttered, even if they are a god, that's not okay.
No, it isn't. No, if it comes to that, I'll help you get there.
Also,
oh, great. We can get the whole team back together. We get, what, 3 for 3? God.
Also, you're not going alone back to Yedo. Arata, I'm not letting you just walk into whatever they're wanting you to do without...
Oh, God, no.
You
We'll
need-
make a whole trip out of it. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, but we're gonna keep our eyes peeled. It's gonna be okay.
Azumi just was kind of just like sitting back for the majority of this, and he once this part of the conversation calms down, Azumi looks over in Arata's direction and in Corey says, "When did you kill a god?"
Oh, you didn't hear about that one?
Sammy's just looking back and forth between Professor Azumi and Arata, just with question marks, because he can't speak Corey.
Arata goes, he looks to Azumi, he goes, "It's a long story." And he looks to the professor, Azumi died before we actually went up against that god.
I see.
Okay, quick question. Was all of this in Corey?
The professor's part was.
Yeah, no. Arata did say this in Corey.
Alright, Sammy's completely oblivious. He has no idea what y'all are talking about. He's just kind of watching this all go back and forth like a tennis match. With visible question marks above his head, just kind of in a cloud that pops up with every word everyone speaks.
Oh gosh.
No, you know what happens? After Sammy looks between all three of them, he just kind of turns to Genie and goes, "Genie, they're talking words I can't understand," and then kind of just walks over to Genie and plops his face in Genie's fur.
There's a distinct Sammy.
Shiz, I'm pouting. They're talking stuff I can't understand. It's not fair. And you're fluffy.
Genie's just standing there just look at what you guys did to him. And do you guys have any more questions? I'm just gonna put this out right now because
yeah, no, I think I've kind of started going in circles, honestly, with Sammy speculating. So
I think I don't have anything else. I could probably come up with stuff, but I don't have anything ready, so I'm good.
Yeah, no. If you guys want to do a follow up, we'll do it later. We'll figure that out.
Yeah. Maybe they all have dessert or something.
I don't know.
It's late as hell.
It's late as hell, but Rana already closed the kitchen. I think at the very least.
In that case, the professor gives everybody a bag of gummy bears because he has apparently a lot of bags of gummy bears in his pockets.
it's just the gag.
Yeah.
He's not even a dude!
Yeah,
He's not! He just brings out one, and then another, and then another, and then another.
But young Sammy said to Professor, "You're Toon-like."
Yeah, he did.
He's Toon-like.
Zumi's never seen you do this before.
He's just here, candy.
It's been a long day. He got grilled twice.
Yeah.
Darn, I rolled another history to see if Sammy would recognize the gummy bears, and that was another 5.
F in the chat. This might as well happen. There's a brief moment as you guys as Professor hands out these goddamn yummy bears. I almost said jelly babies. God damn it. And as Azumi he probably unlocks the door and he puts his hand on the door handle and he looks back in Arata's direction. Like he wants to say something, but then he goes, "Oh, I absolutely meant it, by the way. I am going to beat your ass into the ground when we fight." And Arata just kind of just laughs and he says, "You did that. You said that the past 3 times. It still hasn't happened yet, buddy. I'll believe it when I see it."
And you guys can beat each other up as long as you want. Just make sure I'm there so neither of you die. And in your case, die again.
I am kind of odd to say that. And he kind of just shrugs and says, "I suppose I'll be seeing you later then." And opens the door and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And as he leaves, Arata slumps. His shoulders just droop, with all the weight of somebody who's been trying to hold up themselves that entire time.
Yeah.
And he sinks into probably a stool that was by the counter, and he puts his face in his hands, and he goes, "Okay, this might be a concerning question, but that was real, right? That absolutely happened."
Yes, Arata.
It did happen. And I have more questions than answers. But we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
You better. And the camera shifts, and we see the outside of the last one in as Azumi leaves, and he has an unreadable expression on his face, and he was genuine during that time inside the inn, but there's this nagging doubt in his mind, and the camera pulls out, zooms out, and, well, I have a bit of an epilogue for you guys.
Eyes emoji.
The scene changes. And we are somewhere we do not recognize. The audience does not recognize this place. They do not recognize the stacks of papers and the tossed over lab coat that has been resting untouched for many hours on a chair. And hang on, I need to look something up real quick. I fucked up. That was the wrong document. Give me a second, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens. But just know, I am looking much with intent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, is this it? Please tell me this is it. Ah! Airbox, please do not crash on me now.
Oh no.
That's not it either. God damn it.
Oh no. Don't worry. We can hang in as long as you need to find the thing.
Oh, where is it? Okay, here we go. We do not recognize the room this is in, but it is a mess. And, there are papers scattered about, and a lab coat that has been tossed over a chair, and it doesn't look like it's been touched in days. And, we see a desk with the lamp on, and the camera pans over this desk, and we linger over a specific document that is handwritten and looks quite formal. And the title of this paper reads, "Interpreting Reality Through Cognitive Science and the Alteration of Reality via External Influence." And from the side of the camera, we see a hand reach over to the lamp and turns it off. And thank you everybody for listening!
Oh man! Oh man! Oh man! Ah! Avi, you're so good. Your word pictures are tasty.
That was awesome.
Also, please know I did not actually say this when Arata asked if what happened was real. Sammy definitely hugged Arata.
Oh, he definitely needed it. And I thank you both for joining me on this. How long's it been? 3-hour excursion? Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic. I've just been sitting here vibrating this entire time.
It's been so good.
I was expecting a lot more arguing. I'm surprised.
I kind of feel like Sammy and Sammy and Professor's presence kind of was enough of a buffer so that they didn't butt heads.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm grateful for that. Arata's grateful for that.
This was fun.
It was very fun. And
fantastic.
again, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening, both now and in the future. We are going to bid you a good time zone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.